Thank you so much for coming and welcome to our class today, our class Cardio Flow for the care of Waldenstrom's with a specific focus for peripheral neuropathy. A lot of us, in fact, 48% of those diagnosed with Waldenstrom's will at some point experience peripheral neuropathy as part of their WM journey. And then, of course, just to make matters more frustrating, treatment. Chemo for Waldenstrom's can also create peripheral neuropathy. So we're here today to address that topic through a movement class. I have been, as a yoga therapist, working with this community for over 3 years. I've been listening, and I've been hearing you telling me what it feels like to have peripheral neuropathy. Some of you tell me it feels you have no feeling in your legs or your feet. You might have pain or cramping, balance issues, unusual sensations that you don't really know what they are. Those could be peripheral neuropathy. And, tingling, burning, those are some ways that you've described peripheral neuropathy to me. It can be so diverse, and we're a diverse bunch as it is on how we experience Waldenstrom's. So just to get like a big picture, to take a step back for a moment, and think about what it is. So our peripheral nervous system is a network of nerves that send signals between the brain and spinal cord and the rest of the body. So this neuropathy happens when the nerves are damaged, again, either from Waldenstrom's or from the treatment or other reasons. There are many other reasons for it. So when these nerves are damaged, it can cause PN, we're going to call it PN, and all of those symptoms that I described, you tell me, that could be how you experience it. And because of this, this particular group is at a higher risk for falls. And so when folks were coming in, we were talking about what keeps you moving, what keeps you active, and the answer was, I'm afraid if I don't, bad things will happen, basically. Like we don't want to fall. We don't want to have injury. We don't want to get worse. And so that's what we're here to do today. We're going to be using a mixture of different kinds of exercises that are recommended for peripheral neuropathy by doctors and exercise physiologists. So I'm going to give you 5 main compartments to think of, and then we'll use these throughout the whole class. The 5 main sort of things to think about for how I want to address my peripheral neuropathy, or just to feel good, right? I want aerobic exercise. So raise your hand if you're getting aerobic exercise. You think you're getting aerobic exercise? That's good. And I do not mean a Jane Fonda exercise video where you're like wearing Reeboks and stepping all over the place. It could be just getting the heart rate flowing, getting the blood moving. We want to get the oxygen to the extremities. That's the point of that. Strength exercises so that we are able to, have stamina. One of us was talking about reduced stamina, just don't have it, right? So what can we do to build muscles? We also want to stretch the muscles. So that's aerobic, strength, stretch. And stretching is important because we don't want the muscles to shorten and become maybe deformed as a result, to use a scary word. And that you might already have that happening, and that's okay. That could be part of your experience. And we can do what we can to keep things from getting worse by stretching. Balance is an obvious low-hanging fruit for those of us with neuropathy because we have that limited sensation in the feet, limited proprioception, and reduced strength, so that higher risk of fall. So we want to do balance work. And then the thing that I'm going to add that you might not experience in another class is a layer of mindful awareness. The mindful awareness using the power of your mind. So for those of you who might be moving throughout our session today, and you might not be able to fully do something I'm asking, I want you to instead use the power of your mind to either move your mind to the part of the body that we're working, or to see yourself in your mind's eye doing the thing that we're doing, or just watching me do it. So there is research out there that shows that folks who were doing a strength training class and folks that were watching the strength training class, both groups had improvement in muscle tone. And that just blows my mind. So we're using mindfulness and mindful awareness throughout this class as well. So that's my little spiel. Let's go ahead and get started because we're looking to, improve our quality of life. We're looking to maintain what we have. And above all, we would like to continue to be able to do our day-to-day activities. That's, the motivation for many of us. We want to keep up with our grandkids and find joy in the little things. So let's go ahead and get started with a little mindful moment. If you've been sitting here for a while and I've just been jabbering on, let's go ahead and move the shoulders up, back, and down a few times. Just rinse the shoulders, lifting the shoulders up, back, and down, and beginning to arrive. Today's class will be a combination of seated and standing, but you can always stay seated if that's preferred. And then I'm just going to take a big breath in through my nose and out through my mouth. I might even choose to close my eyes or look down and take a few more breaths. Adding this layer of mindfulness could simply be adding some awareness of what it feels like to breathe while I'm in this body. Breathing in and breathing out. Can you take one more big breath with me in through the nose and out through the nose or mouth? You've got it. All right, and then we're opening our eyes, and I am wearing some shoes today. I recommend shoes, supportive shoes for today's session, especially if you would feel more stable wearing shoes. A lot of the times you'll find me in our classes barefoot. For today's class, I want to model the good behavior of wearing shoes. So let's start with some head and neck movements just to kind of get our blood flowing, get our muscles stretched. I'm going to move my head from side to side and just noticing how that feels. I might breathe in, breathe out, and I'm letting both shoulders just relax, soften. And if anything, and I mean anything in today's session, doesn't feel right for you, I will just give you the recommendation to skip it. Breathing in and breathing out. And we'll take one more on each side. And we'll also have some time at the end to talk to each other if you're here for the live class. We can learn so much from each other. So let's go ahead and bring the arms down. And I'm just going to lift the arms up as far as feels good to me, and then release them back and down. Inhaling. Exhaling. So I want to be getting the blood flowing before I start to do any strengthening, any stretching, any balance work. I want to get the blood moving there. And I want to do so in a way that's not going to deplete me. So that's sort of a careful balance that only you can really determine what kind of a day you're having with your energy levels. I'm going to take one more lift and release. And then we'll go ahead and bring the arms straight out in front. And I'm going to open my arms to the sides, maybe push my heart forward, a little bit of a arch of the back. And then as I bring my arms in front, I'm just going to interlace the fingers and pull the arms away from the body. So we're breathing in, opening, heart lift, breathing out, interlace, feet are on the earth. Breathing in and breathing out. Good, and we'll take one more opening. And as we close this time, we're just going to give ourselves a hug, one arm on top, it doesn't matter which. And I'm just noticing, do my elbows stack? And maybe I can bring my chin down and just take a breath here. I'm going to open my arms again and bring the opposite arm on top. So I'm just stretching a little bit of my upper back since we just got the blood flowing there. Beautiful. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do a little exercise right now that's helpful for establishing my awareness, my proprioception, using my peripheral vision. Something we so often forget all about because we're so focused, centrally focused in our vision on this one little thing right in front of us. Maybe it's a phone, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my arms out in front and I'm just going to sort of soften my awareness. And as I bring my arms out to the sides, I'm going to keep my gaze forward, but my awareness of where I stop being able to see my hands, that's where I stop. And then I bring the arms back and I might just play around with determining where is my field of vision, both out to the sides and maybe down below as well. So I'm not even turning my head down, but I'm looking down with my peripheral vision and I'm sort of determining where can I see my hands, where do they come in and where do I lose them. And maybe I can determine this whole big field of my peripheral vision from the top to the sides to the bottom, making a big circle. And just sort of circling my field of vision. This is where I can see the edges, the boundary of my peripheral vision. And everything else in front, up, back, and down is nice and soft. All right. So I just want to kind of get that layer of awareness going as we rub the hands together. Many of us experiencing arthritis or peripheral neuropathy in the hands. So I want to get some warmth to the area, create a little friction. And then I'm going to do just a few little, I'm going to interlace my fingers and just push the palms away, do a few little juicing up the fingers. And the arms can be down or the arms can be straight out in front, whatever feels good to you. And then we're going to warm up the hands and the wrists with some, I'm just going to knock on the doors of life here. Right? Let me in. Don't forget about me. I am here. Breathing, feet on the earth. Noticing what your range of motion feels like. Maybe you want to do some whole circles with the wrists. One direction. Let me see you really explore what a circle in the wrist feels like, one direction and the other. You got it. All right, and then I'm just going to shake my hands out and I'll share with you something that Nancy Campbell, our exercise physiologist from Dana-Farber, Zachem Center, shared with us during her webinar. We're going to be doing our finger taps. So if you notice, your hands might feel a little more vital just from doing those things. We're going to tap the thumb to each finger and press. So this is our strength training for our fingers. We're going to press for 3 seconds and move to the next finger. Press for 3 seconds and move. And maybe there's some ability here and maybe there isn't. If this is really challenging for you, you can simply stretch the fingers wide and curl the fingers, right? If there are some fingers that respond and others that don't, right, we're just observing that. And again, where our awareness goes, our energy flows. So we're awareness of the fingers. Maybe we're only doing this exercise mentally. And I'm going to take one more. Doing anything else with my hands that could feel good. I can see some of you are already maybe doing a little massage. Right? Maybe you have the ability to book a massage and you can get a full body massage, soft, light touch, whole body massage. And that is something that is an intervention listed for peripheral neuropathy along with acupuncture. So we're seeing the research that supports these types of interventions for pain and for fatigue and for peripheral neuropathy. So let's go ahead and just stretch the fingers as wide as you can, and then we'll make a fist around the thumb and drop the knuckles down. So we're lifting and spreading. And just doing what you can, focusing on what you can do. Let's take 2 or 3 more of these. And I feel like, getting the blood, I've gotten the blood flowing for sure, and I've stretched and I've done a little bit of strengthening. So I'm ready to move on to another muscle group, biceps. So I'm going to bring my hands down at my sides with my palms facing up, and I'm just going to do some bicep curls. And I'm squeezing my muscles. I'm breathing in and squeezing, making that bicep lift. Breathing in. Maybe some of you do this with small weights. That's great. And I'm also moving my mind to my bicep muscle, and I'm imagining strength going into that muscle and blood flowing through that muscle as a result of this movement. There you go, buddy, in. Feel that blood pumping. We're breathing in, breathing out. And maybe you want to take 2 or 3 more. Maybe you feel done. You got it, Ruth. Beautiful. So good to see you, as always. And last one. And if you were holding weights, you can let them go. And maybe we just shake the arms out a little bit. Any other movements in the upper body that would feel good. And then we'll move on to a little bit of a whole body movement or a sip of water. I feel so awkward wearing shoes. It's so funny how used to not wearing shoes I am. So let's go ahead and we're going to march in place. And this, again, the goal of this is to get the blood moving, get the blood flowing. And all I'm doing is I'm marching in place. I'm at the edge of my seat, so I'm really using the core muscles. I might not be lifting my feet up that far off the earth, that's fine. But I am trying to use opposite arm, opposite leg. And I might want to, again, soften my gaze and be reminded of my whole field of vision right now. Breathing in. Breathing out. Getting the blood flowing. And also warming up my core for our balance exercises we're going to be doing. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take a little bit of a wider stance, and we'll take some torso circles, so just juicing up the spine a little bit. And in a moment, we'll stretch some of those muscles in between the ribs, right? That can get really tight and inelastic, moving the other direction. And then we'll go ahead and come back to center. And I could just lean from side to side, or I might want to lift my arm up. Right? I might start with just drifting the arm up the rib cage and leaning, right? Or I might want to move the whole entire arm. I am looking to create some length in the side of my body. Stretching those muscles in between the ribs. You've got it. And one more on each side. Doing what feels best for you. All right, and then I'm going to walk my feet back. And I'm going to come to sit all the way back in my chair. So I have a support of the chair behind me. And I'm going to try lifting both feet up and squeezing my legs together. So zipping up my legs and my core. Option to bring the arms straight out in front. And we're going to take a few breaths here in this, let's call it a boat pose. So we're looking to strengthen the core here before we do some balance. And we're strengthening the legs as well. Big breath in. And then release it. Maybe you want to just massage the tops of the thighs for a moment. I could stay there, or I might want to move a little bit forward in my chair. So this is going to make it a little harder. If you're having a really low energy day, you might stay to the back of the chair, or if you're having back issues, right? I'm going to lift both legs, zip them up. Option to bring the arms out. So zip those legs up. There you go, Gordon. And we're breathing, one big breath and releasing it down. Really nice job. So we could ratchet it up one more notch if we feel like it, or you could stay where you are. And I want to, it's a little tricky here. I want to not fall out of my chair. So I got to kind of test it out. How far forward can I go without falling out of my chair? And if you're using a rolly chair, I don't recommend that, doing this one. But do what you can. One more, zip up the legs, sit up nice and tall, plug the shoulders back, big breath, and release. And that's a lot. So let's take a few breaths together here. Breathing in through the nose, out through the nose or mouth, and just observing, maybe moving your mind to the part of the body or parts of the body where you experience peripheral neuropathy, and just checking in. How do they feel right now? And without judgment, just as if we are, taking data down in a chart to observe and come back to later. Maybe one more breath. And then we'll work with the lower body before we stand. So our foot pumps are one of our favorite things to do for peripheral neuropathy. So I'm going to stretch my right leg forward. Again, I'm on the edge of my chair, but I can hold onto my chair for support. I've got my heel on the earth, and I'm just going to pump the foot down as far as I can go. Lift the foot back towards the face as far as I can go. And I'm just pressing on that gas with the right foot and lifting it back up. And noticing what I can notice here about how my feet feel, how my toes feel. What's my range of motion in my right ankle feel like? And it's good to do about 10 of those, 10 foot pumps. That might be something that you can do every day. Maybe you're sitting there watching TV and you could do a foot pump. And I think that's about 10, but I'm going to switch sides. Left leg out, heel on the earth, and we're pointing and flexing. Doing what we can do, celebrating what we can do. Finding the breath, maybe softening the gaze again to notice the peripheral vision of, can I, without looking down at my foot, can I see my foot moving? Because very often when we're out there walking and we're feeling like we might fall, we're looking directly down at our feet. So I want to give you another layer that you're kind of turning on all the time. There's nothing wrong with looking down at your feet while you're walking, by the way. All right, and then we'll go ahead and come back. Now I'm going to come to the back of my chair again and lift my right foot out. And I might just draw with my toe A, B, C, or some word I'd like to spell today that's supportive of me right now. Like you can do it, or strength, or, just be. So I'm tracing some letters with my right toe. And, you could sit there waiting in the doctor's office and do the whole entire alphabet if you wanted. When you're ready to switch sides, you could try tracing a few letters with the left foot. This foot could feel different, right? We're just here to notice and take the data in. All right. Maybe one more letter. And then I'll release my foot down, come to the edge of my chair, and decide, am I going to stand up today? Is this what would be in my best interest based on my energy levels, my mobility levels today? making that determination. And if I feel like I would like to stand, I'm going to do so mindfully, aware of what's below and to the sides of me, using my core, using my glute muscles. Coming to stand, I could take a little sip of water. You've got it, Anne. And sort of resetting a little bit so that I can be mindful of not tripping over anything. And I'm going to start with just walking in place. And if you stayed seated, you can march in place. And I'm just noticing what I can see with my peripheral vision. I can kind of notice my hands down at the bottom, and I can hear my feet. Turning on as many senses as we can if we have that decreased sensation. I'm using my vision, I'm using my hearing. Getting the blood flowing. All right, and now my goal, once I've done that, is to do a little bit of strength. So let's go ahead and sink down and bring the hips back. And I'm sinking down, and as I do this, I'll just pull my belly towards my spine and really try to turn on your glute muscles. That might mean I push my feet apart isometrically. And I'm really looking to strengthen my muscles right here. And I'm going to hold here for just a couple breaths. If you get tired, come out of it. If something feels uncomfortable, come out of it. I'm just in my little half squat here, breathing for one more breath. And then we're coming out of it, a little bit of a wider stance, and I'm just flowing the upper body from side to side in my windmill. And then I'll do a little stretch that will help the backs of my legs. Walking my legs back. So I might be stretching the same muscles I just was strengthening. So you could do some reps of that, like a squat that's held, and then you could do a stretch like this. And coming up nice and slow. And I'll do my leg sweeps, or sweeping the leg to the side. So I'm going to start with my weight in my right foot. And if you're seated, maybe you're visualizing yourself doing this. So the weight will come in my right foot, and all I'm doing is sort of picking up my left leg and sweeping it out to the left. And then bringing it back, and I might hover the foot or I might place it back down, and I'm going to keep going with this left leg out to the left. It doesn't have to be as far as I possibly can go. I'm going to do a total of 5 leg sweeps, leg to the left. And it starts to get to be a lot of work, doesn't it? I think that was 5. So let's kind of walk it out between sides. Maybe you just want to shimmy it out. Maybe you want to do some windmills. And then when you're ready, you can bring the weight into that left foot. And I'm picking up my right leg, or I'm imagining myself doing this. And I'm sweeping the leg out to the right and coming back, hovering the leg or placing it back down. Right? If you have knee issues and you don't want to be on the joint for as long, you might shorten your length of time you do this, or shorten your reps. My field of vision, I'm aware. And then we're releasing. And I might walk it out a little bit. And I'm going to do another set on each side. So a total of 5 leg sweeps. This is another exercise Nancy gave us. Good old Nancy. So weight will come into that right leg. I'm picking up my left leg. And I've got something I'm holding on to, as you can see. So we're just doing some standing balance. Weight will come in that right leg. I'm picking up my left leg, hovering it, and bringing it out to the side as far as feels good to me. And I'm trying not to sway my body here. Turn on that right glute muscle. Use those core muscles. For one more. You got it, Betty Ann. Very nice. And we're walking it out between sides. Breathing, awareness of how I'm doing. And then we'll go ahead and bring the weight in the left foot and pick up that right leg, sweep it out to the right, bring it back, hover the leg. Right? I'm not looking to go as far as I possibly can go. I'm looking to stay as stable as I possibly can be. Looking for stability here. And eventually you might work towards doing this with less holding on. All right, that's really good, you guys. Walk it out. So that was some balance, some strengthening, and some mindfulness. They're all thrown together. Leg sweeps. Love those leg sweeps. So let's go ahead and work with some lunges now. I'm going to use my chair for this. I have my right foot forward, and I'm going to walk my left foot back, and I'm going to have all 10 toes facing straight ahead and bending into my right knee. So you might feel a stretch in this left hip. Additionally, if you wanted to, you could lift up onto the left tiptoe and bring that left heel back down. So I'm getting a little extra stretch and strengthen of this left leg. My toes are cracking. You can't hear them, but my toes are cracking. You might have little cracks and things going on as well. And then I might stay in whatever position feels good and just squeeze that left glute muscle. One more breath. You've got it. And then let's go ahead and just switch sides. Left foot forward, right foot back, all 10 toes pointing straight forward. I'm bending into my left knee, and I might feel okay coming up onto my right tiptoe and releasing the heel back down. And some of us, this might not feel good, and if that's you, don't do it. Squeezing that right glute muscle. Maybe you want to do one more lunge and just staying here for a moment. Squeezing that right glute muscle. One more breath. Beautiful. And then we'll walk it out. And I'm going to take one more balance challenge today. That is my balance beam. So I'm going to roll out my imaginary balance beam. And I'm going to bring my feet together. Now, if you feel like you want to walk alongside of a wall for this and hold on to the wall, or you could just do this one in your mind if you're feeling really unsteady today. So I'll take my right foot in front of my left, heel to toe. I might be holding on to something for this. And I might just take an easy, relaxed walk forward. And I might walk back, heel to toe. Turn on that peripheral vision. Give yourself a lot of grace with the ability to wobble out of this and come back to it. Maybe you have your hands out to the sides like a tightrope walker, right? Maybe you're looking down at your feet the whole time. That would be fine. And maybe it doesn't have to be heel to toe exactly. We're working towards that. Pretty hard stuff. You got it. That's beautiful, Jane. And then I'm going to do just a standing balance beam. So I'm definitely going to hold on to something for this. I'm going to place my right foot in front of my left, heel to toe, and I'm just going to bend into both knees a little bit. And I'm isometrically pushing the feet apart. One is moving forward, one is moving back. And that's really anchoring me to the spot. And I might be working towards just taking the hands up for a moment, for a millisecond. Right? And coming right back to that support when I need it. You got it, guys. Awesome. And switch it up. Left foot forward, right foot back. Heel to toe or thereabouts. I'm softening my knees. I am, distributing the effort across a bunch of different muscles. Pushing the feet apart. And there's a little element of allowing. Just allowing things to be as they are. One more breath. And release it. walk it out. Gold stars raining down upon you. And we'll come to sit. We'll do a little bit of stretch and a little bit of tapping, and then we'll close our session today. So love to stretch the hip. I'm going to cross my right ankle over my left knee. See if that's possible for you. If it's not possible, that's okay. Work towards what is possible. And while I'm here, I have access to my lower limb. I might want to do a little tapping if I experience, or massage, right? If I'm experiencing a lot of numbness, that might be like a little more forceful. If it's more like a tingling or other sensation, maybe I want to be a little lighter with my touch. And then I'll just make this into my stretch by leaning forward a little bit. Find my breath. Good. Sit on up, cross the knee over. We'll just take a little twist to the right. So peeking over my right shoulder and seeing if I can allow the breath to find a place to go. Maybe it's my ribs. Maybe it's my belly. Slow release back to center. You got it, Mike. Beautiful. And we'll do the other side. So crossing that left knee, the left ankle over the right knee, you know what I mean. And maybe bringing a little attention to my lower limb here. A little tapping, a little massage. And finally, we can just reach forward a little bit with a flat back, soften your shoulders, take some breaths. Come on out of it and cross the knee over. We'll take one final movement here, just a twist to the left. Good, and relaxing back to center. We'll close with the feet on the earth, the hands in the lap, and one more mindful moment. So I could close my eyes or I could keep my gaze softened. Feeling the blood circulating through my body, feeling the strength in this and the flexibility in my muscles. Feeling the stability of my balance. And just the awareness that I can create with my mind, awareness of my whole body. Awareness of all the space around me. Awareness of all of my fellow WM friends out there doing what they're doing. And then when I'm ready, I'll just rub the hands together one last time. If you're wearing glasses, you might take the glasses off. And we're just going to cup the palms over the eyes. Roll the eyes around. I'm going to give the eyes a break. And then when you're ready, you can move the hands down and blink the eyes open. And I just want to say thank you so much for being here today, for taking care of yourself, and keep moving. Keep up the great job moving, and we will see you soon. Thank you, friends.